calibrated to Dr. James Hansen's 350 parts per million target to reduce...
Which we've already exceeded.
Yes, we have. Well, it would include carbon sequestration as well. But, and Dr. Hansen says an 8% annual reduction in emissions is required. But so, as you probably know, in April we got our federal order from Judge Coffin in that courthouse. He sided with us on every single argument that the federal government and fossil fuel industry raised against the case. Our next hearing is September 13th at 10 a.m. at the Wayne Morse Courthouse. And I would actually like to take this opportunity to invite you to attend that hearing. I'll be flying in from New York for one day, and I guess Congress is probably in session at that time. But I'd also like to just ask you, if we win our case, the federal government will be ordered to implement this science-based plan. Will you support that plan? Will you help work with Congress and help us get a science-based national plan for climate change?
Well, I would love to have a science-based national plan for climate change, but I work in a body in Congress where the majority says that it doesn't exist, or maybe it doesn't exist, or maybe it's caused by natural cycles or whatever. I give an example. When I came into Congress as a guy from the Upper Peninsula, I think in Michigan, Fred Upton, nice guy, smart guy, and until 4 years ago, he believed in climate change. 4 years ago, he wanted to become chairman of the Energy and Commerce Committee on the Republican side, and he now says that climate change doesn't exist. Now, he's term limited, so in 2 years he'll no longer be chairman, and then maybe he'll go back to believing in climate change. But it is required on their side of the aisle, and there are very few. We've had a number of bills introduced to deal with CO2 and that, and none of them have gone anywhere. We have very few Republican sponsors. Instead, they have passed legislation to undo regulation of coal plants that has been done administratively by the president and other things. So, so absent a new Congress, or a Congress that's opinion somehow changes, I laud you on your case, but I'm not sure how it works out constitutionally. Even if you were to win the case, I don't know that, to the best of my knowledge, a judge can't force Congress to do anything, and this Congress is not going to do anything about climate change. Of course, your case won't be decided for some time, so we'll have, in some way, a different Congress, and maybe a little more light. I recognize the issue, and I have worked on it in many different ways for a more sustainable power supply. So,
just to clarify, you would support a plan calibrated specifically to the 350 target? Is really the heart of the question.
Whatever,
right.
I mean, I don't know what that plan would be. I'm not going to say I would support something that I don't know what it is, but I have been actively engaged in attempting to impose, federal policies that will drive down our carbon emissions. So, and I will continue to do that. I don't know what a individually specific plan. I'm familiar with Hansen's work. I haven't read exactly, how do you get there? I mean, do you get there by, the Obama administration has imposed some caps on the states, but they left the states flexibility in how they get to those caps. Do you want to do it that way, or do you want to say, well, this has got to go, that's got to go, that's got to go? I don't know exactly what the best way is to get there, but I think giving flexibility to bring in alternative fuels or alternative energy, or one of the biggest gains we could get this country would be a massive program where there are a lot of states that don't have building codes. Guess what? The second largest source, I think, of driven by the fossil fuel energy, electricity and that, or heating, is buildings. So, should we focus on buildings? Should we focus on transportation? I mean, and the biggest emitters right now are the coal plants. The president's been focused on them. Congress won't take any action. He's taken action. Congress has tried not to do it. At least we've taken some initial steps on coal. So,
thank you.
Yes, sir.
Kevin from Roseburg.
Sure.
Infrastructure is really important.